All right, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin,
I'm Tarsha.
and this is, of course, Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, commentary on some of our favorite shows, and we're looking for other things to talk about as far as topics, too. So if this is your first time, listen, this is what you need to do. All right, I'm going to hit you up. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, request notifications,
And share.
and then we see you in the comments. We hang out with you in the comments. So, and if you've been around, if you're part of the KT squad, thanks again for watching. Why is your family not watching?
He said, "Watch your family. Why's your
Listen,
best friend not
why
watching?
your homegirl, why your homeboy ain't watching?
Why your pastor ain't watching? Why your dentist and your doctor ain't watching? Why your Walmart clerk ain't watching?
Listen,
Why your hairdresser ain't watching? Why your dog ain't watching?
someone might have their dog watching right
They
now.
might
Well,
have. As long as they subscribe, make sure they get their own.
get a dog its own channel.
Make sure they subscribe.
All right. So listen, we are talking about the end of season 3 for Put a Ring on It, the reunion special.
They made it 3 seasons.
So kudos to Dr. Nicole.
Yes.
Her idea. We've
Doing
had
her
an interview.
thing.
In fact, you can go in
Check
our
it out. Check her interview out.
in our previous videos.
Mhm.
There's an interview that we did with her for season 2. So
Mhm.
definitely something that we like the show,
Mhm.
right? So the reunion is hosted by Egypt Sherrod.
Mhm.
I think she's done the last 2. She's done
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So first thing to notice, well, a couple of things to notice off the top. First, Shorty and Kenneth are sitting like on opposite ends of opposite couches.
We got security off camera.
Listen,
That's where we are on this relationship.
she got the Secret Service like he's breathing.
You see the sweat coming off his brow.
Bruh man was sweating.
He was sweating. I was like, I know them lights are
Listen,
hot.
I'm a big guy. We live here in Phoenix. There, I sweat. I get it.
Especially being on when the lights are on.
And even when I minister, when we preach
Yeah.
and teach, because of the light sometimes.
Yeah.
But Kenneth was like pouring buckets. He was like,
It's rough.
it was rough. So first of all, that they were sitting on opposite couches.
Right.
And
Makes
then
sense, though.
I don't know if Kenneth got the memo.
He got the memo. Kenneth decided to show up as himself. He's like, I ain't gonna pretend. I'm not wasting no money. I'm not renting anything to prove anything to anybody. I got my letters of truth. I'm gonna work from there, and that's how we're gonna work tonight.
Kenneth came straight from
He came from work.
the TCBY at the mall. He came from
He came from work.
from Cold Stone, getting him a little scoop of ice cream, and it's like, oh, I got to get over to the studio.
Yep.
He came, yeah. All right, so of course,
Everybody else was looking like they're about to go to the Meta Ball.
like everyone else dresses for a reunion
Right.
special, no matter what show, right? The other shows that we do, Ready to Love,
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
come dressed up, right? Married at First Sight, they
Mhm.
come dressed up.
Right.
All the other shows that we do or have watched or what have you, they come dressed up for the reunion special. Kenneth is like, I don't care. I'm breaking the mold.
Yep. He gonna do something different. You gonna remember him.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So they review with Dr. Nicole real briefly, kind of what the thought is behind the
Right.
show, what it's for. But they also notice Charlie is pregnant.
Right. And we're like, because we were joking, right? Because of the statement he made, meaning Otis making Charlie, on their last finale,
Right.
And then someone put in the comments
That she was pregnant
She was
before
pregnant.
the end of the show. So,
Right.
and they did talk about that she got pregnant sometime during filming.
right.
Right.
Later, it was she
Towards
said
the end of filming.
To the end of filming when they knew. She
Right,
could
when
have
they
been-
knew.
Right.
So, Dr. Nicole does call them courageous and brave. And yeah, I mean, we give respect to everyone who
Respect.
jumps on these type of shows because
Right.
they are, in a lot of respects, opening their life up
Correct.
for folks like us to have conversations about. Some
Correct.
are more, some are less respectful, I
Right.
think.
Right.
But they do open themselves up, so they are courageous, they are brave.
Right.
Fonzo himself was like, I thought it would be easy.
And maybe because he's in the entertainment industry,
Right.
he felt like, well, this is just the same as what I do or I've seen on a daily basis and through, but when you're actually on camera and
To do work.
I feel like Dr. Nicole is asking those questions, right? So even though they're being videotaped, Dr. Nicole, she always give good questions. And I wrote down, I didn't bring it with me, just even her comment at the beginning, I know. Her comment at the beginning once makes you want to think about the journey you're on.
Right.
And that's kind of what she was saying. So like when she was indicating that she tells them to go on dates with other people,
Right.
you have to come to the place where you understand that you are in control of your destiny. No one is making you stay in this relationship
At all.
You do have options. So why do you keep in your mind thinking that I have to make this work,
right,
when you really don't?
Mm-mm.
And what you're saying is, by staying, you're intentionally saying, I'm going to make a commitment to make something work.
Yeah.
So.
She said that people are not, one of the reasons that she does this is because people are not having the conversations that they need to have. That this forces you to have conversations, because you're going to have it with either this person you're dating just to see if you like them, or you're going to have it with the person that you say that you like and that you love. And so the dynamic, she said, lets you see if you are serious. And yeah. I mean, it's a unique concept, because you're
rejecting someone new
into your relationship. And so they start to talk about kind of their pivotal moments. And Shay, who I think is the MVP for probably the most growth out of this season, said that, for her, the pivotal moment was when she was told that she can't control the situation. That's life. That's whatever relationship you're in, whether you're just dating, whether you're married, you have to learn that you can't control the situation, but you can control how you respond to it, and if you stay in that situation.
Right. So kudos to her.
Yeah.
I mean, because that'll keep you out of jail.
And not getting a plate bust upside your head at a Korean barbecue.
Right.
Otis said that he had a harder time accepting Charlie's reality when it was not his reality.
I think he had a pivotal moment. I was like, ooh, the Lord had broke through.
Yes, he did have a breakthrough. I don't know how solid or firm it is. I don't know.
Can only go by what people say.
True. But I think there's other issues with Otis. I think he just has a problem with women. I'm going to keep saying that. I think that's the issue there.
It's possible.
And then Shorty says, yeah, well, my breakthrough moment was getting on the show, because I was leaning towards breaking up from the very beginning of the show.
Right. And you kind of mentioned that or alluded to that in one of our other episodes. So if you haven't, go back and watch. But you were saying she got on this show to break up with him. And from Kenneth's perspective, it's like, she was just trying to get me on the show. She kept trying to put me on this show, because that's what Egypt was asking. Like, why don't you just do this ahead of time instead of coming on the show?
Right.
And Shorty's response was, well, I felt this was the only way for him to realize that there was other people out there for him. I felt like I couldn't do it, without being on the show, because it does take bravery if you feel like there's some type of verbal abuse or something that's holding you outside of your will.
Right.
As she's alluding to, that people feel like they can be more confident if they have someone to help them.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone can see the tension between Kenneth and Shorty. It's palpable, right?
Right.
So then we start to get to the couples. And so Alfonso and Shay. First question that's kind of posed to them, because y'all remember Shay was kind of like, my spouse, my spouse, my spouse. And so, she says that that's just how they carried each other, whether it was business, what have you.
Right.
I get that. But that don't mean nothing when, if something happens to him or happens to her, that means absolutely nothing.
They will call that mama that at the time where they weren't getting along.
They were like, I appreciate you, girlfriend, but right now his next of kin, official kin, is mama, daddy, like that, right?
And that's what I normally tell people who are living together. And I'm like, are y'all going to stay together? Are y'all in love? Because especially if there's not a good relationship with the rest of the family.
Right.
And you guys are not married, if that family doesn't care about you, they will push you out and make sure you can't even see him or her, and the wishes that because you live with that person, they'll decide on their own, well, no, they want this and no, they want that. So I tell people, like, if you want to make this legal so that you have some teeth in your relationship,
make that spouse official and not just this how we carry each other.
Right. But I get what they're saying as well.
I get it. I get it.
But you ain't gonna call me wifey without any papers.
You got papers?
I got papers. I got receipts.
You got receipts. Yeah, you do got receipts. All right, so they separated after the proposal for a few months.
Right, because Alfonso wanted to clear the slate. You know what? I don't understand men in this sense. Because the best time to do it is when she's already angry and mad at you. This is my thought, right? And I would hope men would get this. If we're asking you to tell the truth right now, like, give it to me now, get it all out of the chest, off your chest. I'm mad right now, so let me digest it. While what? You got Dr. Nicole there. I got cameras for proof so I don't disappear. It's just like all the things and the tools you needed to work through all of that. It would have been better if he had done it.
Yeah.
Even if it was off camera, but when they got back on camera and she's at a session, well, he told me everything, and I don't know if I want to, move forward.
Right.
So, but he did.
And there is also overkill. I know there was one couple that we were counseling because the husband had cheated, right? And so we were counseling, and so he came clean about some things. They were good. They were healing. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I also did this, 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 and this. It's like, dude, listen, she has forgiven you for the major breach.
Right.
Stop giving her these paper cuts that you keep slicing her with.
Right.
Let the woman heal.
Right.
The fact that you bear the major thing.
Right.
You're not being dishonest.
Right.
You're just sparing the fact that, okay, you're allowing her time to heal. If she asks for, is that everything? Then yes, give the everything, honestly. But if she doesn't ask and she's forgiven and you've kind of already dealt with the major drama, the major dirt, let her heal.
Right. Or just, again, go ahead and vomit. Just get it all out.
But that's what, in some respects, that's what he did. He kept vomiting.
That's what
he just kept projectile vomiting. This is what I did.
Hey, get it out. Come out. Like one time, every demon, just come out. Come out. Get it all out at once. Stop holding on to stuff, because you do want to be free, right? Because you're holding on to all this stuff that's causing toxicity, or you're jumpy, or you're worried she's going to find out some other way and it didn't come from me. Just get it all out. And then it's resolved, So I understand what you're saying.
And especially because a lot of the stuff that she said that he was kind of confessing to was from the beginning of the relationship.
Right.
So.
Right.
All right. So, but they're back together and good. She says that he actually came with a game plan, and he acknowledges the use of the therapy and how that was valuable to them.
Right, because she cut him off. It's like, you know what? I'm going to show you that I'm going to choose me.
Right.
And he chose that he wanted to save the relationship by doing the work. And she said, I had evidence of that because the whole family with his mom spent the holidays together. They're spending more time. She's calling and talking to, his mother. Now that is growth, know, and sometimes it's those reality calls. A lot of times people have to realize in themselves, like, you know what? Yeah, I am screwed up. I do need some help. I do want to work on this, and this is how I'm going to prove it to you. So good for them, though.
So he's connected with his mother, or she's connected with his mother.
Yep,
the baby mama is good as well. So they seem to be moving in the right direction. Right. Okay. And then they of course bring out the ones that they were dating. So Tashari, the young lady from Detroit who knows how to.
She can
hit
make
a play.
She's like, never mind.
She's like, I can't do the show.
I don't need no drama.
But Asar, who was Shay's date from that fight, was there.
He shut up.
As well as Tanisha, who was Alfonso's last date, was there. And here's the growth that we saw in Shay. Shay was like, I'm going to apologize to Tashari. I'm going to apologize to Asar. I'm going to apologize to Fonzo, because that should not have happened.
Right. And again, good for her, right? Because we need growth. We want to understand that. Don't allow someone else to make you look the fool.
Yeah.
And I'm, for her to have the ability to say apology is necessary because no one signed up for that. She said, I knew what I signed up for,
Right.
but I decided to act a certain way and it deserved an apology. So there's a lot of growth there.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, I think Shay gets the MVP for most
Yes.
growth out of this season,
Yeah.
out of the individuals.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so then Tanisha, who it seemed like Alfonso was attracted to her, right?
Well,
But
yeah.
she had the rule. She had gotten the rules conversation
Right.
with Shay, and so they asked. Egypt asked, how did you feel about these? She's like, that's not really for me because that's what you should be having a conversation with him about.
Exactly.
Giving me rules, I don't have to abide by your rules.
Exactly. And I agree with her. I'm totally with her. Now she's like, and Alfonso, he didn't want to lose his relationship, so he stayed within his boundaries. But she said, I'm irresistible. That's pretty much what
She said men cannot resist her. Most men cannot resist her. And to her point,
right.
Asar was like,
what you doing after
hey,
this?
Hey, Shawty, what you doing after this?
Because we can go get drinks after this.
We can go to the Chick-fil-A afterwards.
Shut up.
I'm joking.
Go to the Popeyes.
You went to the Popeyes. I said Chick-fil-A, you go up to Popeyes.
Where are we? In Georgia?
In Georgia. They go to Zaxby's. They can go to Miss Winner's. They can hit up Candy's restaurant, Blaze.
Okay, hey.
It's pretty good.
So, but good for him, right? He's single. And he was like, I see a single, attractive woman. Hey, I'm going to shoot my shot.
He's like, I'm in this green room. I know the one.
I'm dressed. Let me look. I'm going to use my outfit to my benefit.
Right. The one who I came here, who I had gone on dates with, she connected with her man. Listen.
I'm still trying to make connections.
I see a shorty that catches my eye.
Right. Because he did say that with Alfonso's date, I can't pronounce her name, the young lady.
Tashari.
Right, Tashari. That, she's like, we pretty much just kind of like ate and was kind of gone. It was kind of a lot going on.
Nothing happened after that.
Nothing happened after that. We were good.
So, all right, then we move on to Charlie and Otis. And again, she is pregnant. They found out that she was pregnant near the end of filming. Then we get, they kind of talk through that as far as that whole deal. They bring out their dates. So Chris is there, who had 3 dates with Charlie. I
believe so.
And then Milan, who had the first 2 dates, if I remember correctly, with Otis, right?
Correct.
And Chris was like, I felt that there was somewhat of a connection with Charlie.
Right.
But he was like, it was overshadowed by her feelings and her love for Otis.
Right.
Right.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
She did want to really work on her relationship. And Chris understood. He was just like, it is what it is. I went on this knowing that she was in a relationship.
Right.
Just seeing where things will happen, and we move on.
And of course, Otis, who just he's less self-aware, is like, well, I didn't see any connection between them. Okay, well, the 2 parties that were there said that they had a connection. So the fact that you were on the outside looking in, saying that they didn't have a connection, that's your pettiness showing through again. But then Milan.
Yeah.
Milan is like, he texts me,
and they
he
like,
DM me.
And Charlie was like, yeah, he showed us the DM. She's like, no. Not this burner account DM. You didn't get these DMs. She's like, you want me to read it? See, I would have let Egypt read it. I was like, Egypt, okay, we're going to verify. Is this Otis? Is this Otis' account from everything you can see?
In fact, go ahead. I'm going to call this number right now. Otis, why your phone ringing?
The other phone ringing.
Right, why the other phone? Why your ankle? Why that one ringing?
Why the ankle ringing? And then I was like, Egypt, can you go and start reading these DMs for me, please? Can you read these DMs for us? And let her read the DMs. And Charles like, I'm pregnant now.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
my concern is, Charlie says, I know everything Otis has told me. That doesn't mean that she knows everything.
Right.
She knows everything that he has told her.
Right.
Which means that, baby girl, there may be other information that this young woman, Milan, can provide that Otis has not told you.
Right. And if it was just being petty throughout the show, it might have been him just being petty throughout the show.
It could be, yes.
maybe it stopped right after the show, whatever, right before he went to the other dates with the other young lady or whatever.
It's possible, yeah.
It's possible, but it's just like, I don't see, personally, I don't see, it's not a reason for her to lie. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Especially when she says, he was checking for me more than I was checking for him.
Right.
So I'm like, and she said, I met up with him outside of what was
scheduled and what was arranged.
And what was arranged, and then Charlie said, well, why would you meet up with somebody who's dating someone? Like, would someone just want to talk to me? And obviously you got an open relationship. No one said it had to be on or off camera, because again, everybody's supposed to make their own boundaries.
Right.
And she's like, so I did, but I want to let you know now, since y'all gonna be together, you should know everything.
Yeah. So
and obviously Otis denies it.
Obviously. And the other thing I didn't like was that he was speaking for Charlie. Right. He was like, no, we already dealt with this. We already talked about this. Instead of allowing her to be, get, if she wanted more information, what have you. So their relationship is a little strange to me anyway.
I don't think it's strange. It's those typical relationships where they keep saying they're working on something, but if you're not allowing a third party to really help you guide through that, you end up in a cycle. And I guess we'll talk about a little bit later what's going on at the end of their relationship, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. And then Shorty and Kenneth. Yeah. Get your popcorn ready.
Well, Shorty was just very direct. She didn't really, at first, really try to, engage in Kenneth with conversation. Just more saying it didn't work out. And then Egypt, like, kind of asking more questions, like, well, did you know ahead of time before you came on the show it didn't work out? And she was like, well, kind of, yeah, but I needed the show, And she's kind of, Egypt's really bringing out, so why you, kind of said these things about him. And Shorty was like, well, I never said he didn't have a job, blah, blah, blah. But Egypt was like, you alluded to it. You alluded pretty much he was a bum.
Yeah.
And you had everything going on. And she was like, and she didn't really have an answer for that.
Yeah. I mean, because the question came up first as far as, what's happened since the show. And Shorty was like, we have not spoken at all. He calls her continually.
So she changed her number.
So she changed her number that she's had for 15 years. She's blocked him on all social medias, but he'll message her that he's downstairs. He'll email her. Yeah, he'll send her messages and emails that he's downstairs. So Kenneth, sweating profusely, pops off about, well, when he met her, she only was making $25,000 at a small job
at the radio station, which is common. They do that,
right? Because they also can make other money from promotions and stuff like that, right? But she's like, well, I never shared that with you, so how did you know unless you was in my finances, which you also tried to steal $2,500 from me at some point, right? So they keep going back and forth. Shorty says that her issue is that she was not able to leave without any consequences, right? And when pressed about what the consequences would be, she said that he would call up her job or go on her job social media to harass her.
And he says he denies that. He said when they broke up, he was like, people was, saying comments about her, but he said it wasn't me. So I don't know.
Well, I don't believe that because the other behavior that we've seen from Kenny is based around a YouTube channel that he has created, where he is showing lots of candidates with Shorty that and trying to give the impression that they're still together or still connected, what have you. So I tend to lean more towards Shorty.
Oh, evidence. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, as
right.
they say.
Right.
We just got to indicate that's what he said.
That's what he says.
That's what he said.
We don't believe him.
But
Kenny, you need more people.
But evidence is showing otherwise.
Yeah.
And he didn't deny he was blowing up her phone at the time.
Right.
And so, even Miss Egypt was like, okay, so can we come to the conclusion that this relationship is over?
She's like, Kenny.
Because Kenny, you don't want to be with her, right? He was like, nope. Then stop calling her then.
Right.
Move on.
Because again, I Spy Me. I can kind of, I dig into stuff. So there is a restraining order that was put on Kenneth a while back. But it was never, what I could make of the records, it was never served. So Kenneth dodged, it looks like. But she's also like, Shorty was also like, I shouldn't have to hire security. And so, yes, she said that she had security that was there for that evening. So it's a very toxic situation.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even in the scene where he was, over drinking and became drunk. Because I felt nervous in that scene. So I can imagine being in a situation where it's live, it's happening.
And that's with producers there, right?
Right.
That's with producers. Right. That's with people that could step in.
Right.
But it still was a very dodgy situation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That, to Shorty's point, if her intention was to have this stuff documented, it was wise, because if cameras had not been rolling and she had done that, who knows what could have happened. Right?
Yeah. I think a lot of times people just need to try as much as possible to be safe. A lot of times they don't know the red flags until they're involved in the relationship, until it's too late, right? Or something occurs, and then it's hard for them to get out for whatever reason. Or they feel like they can't get out for whatever reason. Right. So people have to do what they feel like they needed to do. In Shorty's case, it was getting on the show based off of what she told us. Right. To see this relationship totally end. Right,
because passion can turn into possession real quick.
That's very true.
Passion can turn into possession real quick. All right, so then Hollywood, Tavi, and Myasia, who are the significant dates of Kenny and Shorty, show up.
Right.
Hollywood is like, look, you can hit me on my Zelle, you can hit me on my Cash App, because that bracelet or necklace, whatever it was that he gave,
I was saving up for that.
Listen, you can run me back my numbers for that.
So it was like, whatever, Hollywood, but good for him. He's trying to stay relevant, and try to stay within, his influence
in his area, right?
Right. And then Tavi, I feel like he was really sad about not being able to continue the relationship.
Right.
But I think he really understood that she needs to work on herself, and she understands.
And she needs to heal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but he said, no, I let that fizzle. Just let it go ahead and die out.
It's like we still talk, but not on that level.
Right. Right.
So there may be after some time, there may be something there.
Right.
But right now,
yeah.
Myasia, though, the question was, did she feel that there was a connection? And she does feel that there was a true connection. But then when asked about, well, what's going on with you and Kenneth now, she's like, there's still more that he needs to do before he becomes the man of her dreams.
Right.
And Shorty's over there shaking her head like, I could have told you that already.
Right. Yeah, and I think she was just being honest, right? Because she's like, he has potential, but she's saying, I'm not trying to work on potential. Shorty might want to work on potential, but I ain't working on potential. He needs to work on himself and get him to the place where he needs to be.
Yeah.
And I think any respectful person who's looking at someone who's trying to communicate what they got going on in their life, and you see the potential in them, but you show they're obviously not ready, you should leave them people alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a you can see the potential in someone, but you also should see the momentum towards that potential.
That's good. Yeah.
In other words, everybody has potential.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Every person has potential, but it's a question, are they taking those steps to move towards that potential?
Right.
So yes, you can marry or be in a relationship with someone for potential, as long as they're making steps towards that potential, because yes, that's a journey that they're taking. But if they have all the potential in the world and do nothing, yeah. So Shorty also talks about the fact that her statements of him being out of his league, she's basically what she said she was trying to communicate was that he wants to be with women that have a lot to lose. That way he can use that as a form of leverage to keep them connected to him. Which,
I mean, I look at it the other way. If he can find a woman who feels like there's something that she needs and he can fulfill that, then they'll keep him around.
Yeah.
All of those are what you call survivor modes. When a person is just trying to survive in life. and finding a way into people's lives so that they can survive, you know. But again, yes, you can say that, but at the end of the day, you got the one to let them in the door.
Yeah.
So.
And kudos to Kenny for learning a new word, emasculate.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to you for learning that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So then they bring everyone back.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Nicole makes a great statement about your relationship should be focused on being in peace and being in peace in your relationship.
Yep.
And not in pieces.
She on that. Go ahead, Dr. Nicole. Pass the offering plate. Because it's true, right?
Mhm.
Because as long as it's in pieces, you're always trying to gather things together and put it back together.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those pieces don't fit or things don't work out or you missing pieces and you can never find the piece you were missing.
You see, okay. You have to be whole. If you want a whole relationship, you have to be a whole person, getting connected with a whole person. If either of you are damaged, if either of you are in pieces, you're going to have a piece of a relationship, right? You know, y'all know we pastors, so I'm gonna give y'all the Bible lesson for today.
Okay.
All right.
Break it down.
A whole man and a whole woman make a whole marriage, right? Half of a man and half of a woman make half of a marriage, right? It's the concept, you know, Christian edition basically is 1 + 1 = 1, right? We think 1 + 1 = 2. When we're talking about a relationship, when we're talking about marriage, 1 + 1 = 1. If you're connected, you're one.
Right.
Then you're a
whole. When a man, what's the scripture where it talks about?
Man leaves his he leaves and cleaves. Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all know what we're saying.
All right. You marry, you become one.
Yes. Yes.
Trying to say that's how we.
He leaves his family and cleaves to his wife, so they become one.
Right.
All right. Anything else that you noticed in this?
Well, like they were indicating, asking the couples when is the wedding scheduled.
Yes.
And this is what I was referring back to with Otis and Charlie. They're focused on the pregnancy. And I'm like, okay, you know, because you can't, I've seen people get pregnant and get married.
Absolutely.
You know, while they're in the midst of pregnancy. Because some feel like, well, I want to be married first before the baby even arrives and different things like that. And so right now there's like, oh, we're focusing on pregnancy. I think you feel like you really want to focus on your relationship, you know, which is fine.
Because the baby is going to be there, period.
No matter if you're married or not, be there.
Right.
And
y'all just if y'all need to learn how to co-parent well, co-parent well.
But don't get married. And I've told people this, don't just get married because you had a child together. You know, whatever that experience created life, be thankful for the life it created. But that's not the thing that's going to be able to keep a marriage together.
Right.
And so if you find out that you can't work out together, like you said, then we'll just be able to co-parent together and move forward, you know. So
Chris might make a great stepdaddy. We don't know.
Oh no, we didn't just say that. I want to move on with that statement to Shay
and Alfonso.
They're talking about October,
right?
Getting married, and he's like, "I'm doing it big." It's Alfonso's wedding.
Yes.
It is not Shay's wedding.
He won't drumline. He won't.
Right, clowns on roller skates. I said, what they got to do with your wedding?
Yeah,
I guess we're talking about the reception.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, I mean, are you going to have some rappers? If you're in the music entertainment, who we got coming? Who's going to do the reception?
To Maybach Music.
Right.
You know.
Hey. So, but kudos to them, because Shay said, no, because they asked about babies. Like, no. This is the way we're going to.
She like, no offense to you, Charlie.
However y'all decide y'all gonna do
this side, on this couch here,
this gonna be steel deal before we talk about any children coming in this picture.
Yeah.
You know, so good for them. Again, she get an opportunity to be a bonus mom.
Yes.
Again, you're not in a rush either to like get married and then children immediately after.
Right.
But I guess if they continue they're working on themselves, you know, it's gonna come a point where all that works out.
Yeah. And Shorty's like, I'm working on myself. I'm healing. I'm getting better. Kenny's like, I'm filming a movie. I got
at the end of the year's coming out.
I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And holla at your boy.
I'm like, hey,
Okay.
do you get your movie going, get your life together? That's all anybody wants.
Yep.
So.
All right. So that's it for Put a Ring on It Season 3. Listen, we got some other shows that we have been watching. Make sure you check them out. Love Match Atlanta is another show that we're doing, as well as Love and Marriage DC. And who knows what else we'll pick up. I know we've got some other things going, but definitely just because this show has ended doesn't mean that we're going to stop doing these reviews. We got a lot of other things that we're reviewing. So make sure you stay connected by what? Hitting that subscribe, hitting the like, request notifications.
And share.
And we see you in the comments. Have a great one. Be blessed.